Hey, before we get started on this episode, I just wanted you to know that next week there won't be a new episode of The Sopranos. So I took a vacation, and because of that, it meant taking a week off of making videos. So next week there won't be a new episode of The Sopranos. We'll be back in 2 weeks with Season 2, Episode 3, Total F***ing New. So, yeah, that's pretty much that. Just wanted you to know that before we got started here. Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with The Sopranos. My nose is a little messed up, and that's kind of affecting my speech. Sorry about that. Last time around, we had Guy walks into a psychiatrist's office. Basically, Tony has dealt with all of June's men, and he is now in full control. Although, apparently, June is going to be petitioning to be let out of prison. Meanwhile, Tony's sister Janice from Seattle has showed up, and seems to be just wanting, to bum around and, bum Tony's money and take Livia's car and her house. And it's causing some problems for Tony, basically. And Livia is still in the hospital. It is still unknown whether or not she's faking it or not. But she seems to be getting the sympathy of Meadow and Janice, so... Meanwhile, Chris is working for stockbrokers, because it's another business for, the mafia. Also, Pussy's back. And also, I guess the last thing is Dr. Melfi doesn't want to take Tony back. Yeah. That was a lot of various different things, but that's just kind of what the episode was, is a lot of various different things. Like, I was trying to think, okay, what was the overall plot of the last episode? It really was just Janice, but, I don't know, a lot of things happen. A lot of things. And my nose is still messing up. So why don't we just go ahead and jump right into this episode of The Sopranos, and hopefully I can fix my nose situation. So, let's get going. Oh, he's talking to June?
3 fucking weeks it takes you to put me on your visitors list?
Just be careful. These motherless fucks listen to everything.
My nephew's visiting his uncle.
Yeah.
Who loves him.
I got nothing to say to you.
So many tragedies and near tragedies to those close to you, huh?
Don't be so fucking smart. Things could have gone the other way, my little nephew.
Yeah, but they didn't.
I want you to know your mother had nothing to do with it.
She's dead to me.
She's a sick woman. She don't have all our marbles.
Who the fuck are you kidding? It's killing you that people are talking.
Somebody help our papa on up here. This is my papa. Born in World War II, the war against tyranny.
He's pulling out the big guns. He's got his dad and everything.
Wow, I really liked you, but I gotta study my French. Stupid verbs. No biggie.
Yeah. Been there.
She's in real estate now. She said she'd only charge a 3% commission. That's half Tony's, all right? Thousands of dollars. I mean, it may not mean anything to you, but maybe Ma could use it.
Yeah? Fuck her.
Yeah.
They can't expect me to eat this terrier. I'll see what I can do.
Boy, she's doing really well for a stroke victim.
Well, I can't. You think it was easy for me? You don't know the kind of man your father was.
What do you mean?
Nobody knows. Nobody knows what I went through.
What about Daddy?
Well, I thought he was a saint. What happened to that?
You don't know what goes through this mind of mine.
Well, that's for
Yeah.
fucking sure.
I gave my life to my children on a silver platter.
This is bullshit.
Yeah.
Well,
Talk to me.
now she gets to see what she's like.
Now, as far as the rest of everything that Junior owned, it's now mine.
I'll get this to him, Tony.
He's not gonna like it, I
That's
don't
it.
think.
To the victor belongs the spoils.
Why don't you get the fuck out of here before I shove your quotations book up your fat fucking ass?
Yeah.
He's gonna be out of it for another hour or so. The caudal injection went great. You'll feel the difference in your back in a couple of days.
Buzz me when he feels ready to leave.
Yeah, we'll buzz you, honey.
Oh, he's really out. That's funny.
You said so yourself. T's been shitting on you for years. I know what I said. Plus, he's been crying to a shrink twice a week. You don't know this man dick. So don't sit there and tell me you're gonna take a bullet for some yuppie who thinks you're his errand boy.
Your Honor, this man should not be removed from custody for medical reasons. And every time we get one of these elder mafiosos incarcerated, we get the same bag of tricks.
Your Honor.
He suddenly has an oxygen machine.
He shows no prior arrest since 1968. He pays his taxes. He's a veteran of the Second World War.
Mr. Soprano, do you have any problem with wearing an electronic bracelet?
It sounds like Nazi Germany to me.
Meh.
Obviously, you need a history lesson.
It's hard to argue with that. Even if it's accurate or not, it sounds bad.
Now, what do you want here?
I'm off to IMDb.
So you're 28 years old when World War II starts. It's a little long in the tooth, isn't it?
43, they was taking everyone, no matter how old or how ugly.
Yeah.
Even took this fat boy I knew. I swear he was more dangerous with that stove than he was with that rifle.
You ever watch a History Channel?
Television?
No, this is the History Channel. I think you'd like it. They even do a lot of that Bible shit.
Only shit in the Bible came out of Pharaoh's ass when Moses parted the Red Sea.
Yeah. Fair
Part
point.
of the Red Sea, praise his name. Never underestimate a man's determination to be free.
Have I seriously not seen this guy before? I feel like I have. Maybe in just one-off things. I can't get anything specific.
What'd you ask me to do?
You know, make peace.
Yeah.
You listen. That's enough with that shit. That woman is dead to me. You let it go.
Why the fuck should I? She's my brother's wife. She doesn't realize what she says half the time.
Let's put our cards on the table here. I heard your radio debut on those tapes the feds made at Green Grove. So she doesn't know what she's saying half the time. Well, which half did you listen to?
Yeah.
The half that doesn't make any sense? Or the half that we both know played you like a fucking child?
Nobody played me.
I mean...
She didn't know that she was setting you up to get popped. That's right.
I mean...
Your uncle isn't as dumb as you think.
That sounds pretty
You
dumb.
miserable fuck Altieri.
What, did everybody take a vow of silence or something? Nobody's got anything to report?
I gotta write a report on DNA for biology.
Your voice
Isn't that
changed.
Interesting. I just saw on Inside Edition how there will be no more unknown soldiers because of DNA now. They will be able to identify every single casualty of combat.
Yay.
Macaroni and cheese.
You know, Tony.
I still hated biology
I know
class.
you don't like to talk about her, but that woman is impossible. She's a complete narcissist. I mean, me.
And you just figured this out?
You are a saint.
You're right the first time. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
You talking about Grandma?
No, we're not anymore.
When she pushes those buttons, she's a big baby. You know?
Yes, we know.
Hey, what did one prick say to the other prick?
You see that? You see what happens with you cursing at the dinner table?
What'd he say? Dang it, I wanted to know.
Maybe I should get new frames. What do you think?
What's wrong with them?
They're ridiculously huge frames.
How much those frames set you back?
Insurance pays. I never see the bill.
Nice country.
Meh.
I got cataracts.
My father told me never get old. I should have listened to him. A Chinaman goes to see the eye doctor. After the exam, the doctor says, I know why you're having trouble. Chinaman says, why? Doctor says, you have a cataract. The Chinaman says, no, I have a Lincoln Continental.
Oh.
You don't get it?
Eh.
I get it. He drives a Lincoln. What?
It was pretty bad. I feel bad for laughing at any part of that. To be fair, I'm laughing at the fact that he failed to... I don't know. There's no saving me. That was bad.
I think it's time for you to start to seriously consider salads.
Meh.
What do you mean?
You can barely get out of your car, that's what I mean.
I mean, get off my car before you flip it over, you fat fuck.
Fat fuck. Should look in the mirror sometime, you insensitive cocksucker.
Got him.
Everybody, Guess who passed her driving test today?
She learned from the best.
Go, girl!
I had to like parallel park behind this van, and I was so nervous, but the guy was a real dork, like a clipboard and everything.
Oh,
Yeah.
Fascist Martinet.
Sausage, Janet?
You know, I passed my driving test the first time. The permit took me about 3 tries, though. Oh, that'd be nice. Soak your feet in the pool at night. Look at the stars, if you can see any.
The fireflies out west.
How can she make tremendous strides when there's nothing wrong with her in the first place?
It's called face-saving therapy. The patient has to believe that they're getting therapy. Believe me, Medicare is not going to pay for it if it's not as necessary as real, would they?
Yeah.
The taxpayer foots the bill.
It's not much longer now. But she's going to need a place to stay.
She's out in the street.
I was gonna say she had a
it
place
is
to
her
say.
house.
Dead people don't have houses.
Daddy
Yeah.
bought that house.
What the fuck?
Hey, Tony!
This is what I'm talking about, motherfucker. Am I supposed to be sitting here, you fucking idiots? Shit! Now we look like jerk-offs.
Good job, jerk-offs.
You want to talk to your foreman.
You want to talk to the foreskin?
You a wise-ass motherfucker, huh?
Well, keep your mother off the streets and I won't fuck her.
Ooh. Oh, Chris. We're gonna people bats! Ah, this was slow-mo.
No, I don't think so. I'll go back to the other place.
To the nursing home? No. No, Ma. That's for people who don't have anybody to look after them.
Oh, it's not that bad. And they give you fresh towels every day.
Barbara said you hated it.
But there's too much trouble.
No, Ma, you can't go back there.
Why not?
Because.
Because if I'm gonna bum in your house, then I gotta have you there.
Right. Janice? They were talking about me?
About your DNR. Because that's what's confusing, like DNA, everybody's got that.
She thinks I should have a DNR?
Yeah.
Or that dad should give it to you or something.
Tony's not going to sell the house. And when you get released, we're going to take you back home.
Really?
Yeah. I'm going to live with you.
Why?
It's your funeral.
So you cannot resuscitate me?
Second what?
Oh, I've seen that movie with Richard Widmark.
Boy, AJ always tells her the worst things.
I think you should go live with your daughter, Mrs. Soprano.
Well, I think
Eh.
I'm going to leave all my money to you, honey.
What are
Oh,
you
well,
talking
thanks.
about? Money.
I've got to catch up on some charts.
I'm out of here.
You don't fool me. I know what you're thinking about.
My name's Janice. Janice, Mom. You named me.
It's something else you threw away of mine.
Well,
Are you sure? I didn't tell you where I put that money.
Let's not worry about that.
ooh.
Let's just get you better.
Well, she is definitely your daughter. Oh. Drop the... Oh! Oh. That's why you gotta have a thing on your thing so you don't slip, man.
My father's passed away.
Aww.
He lived well. God blessed him with longevity. What are you gonna do? We all will have our time.
Yeah.
My father didn't know about our little business arrangement. He wouldn't have approved.
Yeah, I got that feeling.
Yeah. He's a good man.
And that generation's almost all gone. And when the last one goes, we become the old folks at the family functions.
What are you talking about? We're still fucking kids, for crying out loud.
Don't you believe it, Tony? When the last one dies, it signals the beginning of the last stretch for us.
Hmm.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not looking to go no time soon. It's just feels funny now being an elder.
Hmm.
These protesters find out I'm not in my pockets with their blood. It's me they're crying for. No, hell no. 3-2.
I'll think about it. What do you hear about the public school asbestos removal project over in Connie?
Just waiting to see who gets the bid.
Interesting. I don't fully see the point of the Reverend being in on it, but I don't know. This has not been the most important plot point.
I just want you to know, what pennies I have, I leave to the children. Your children and Barbara's children. I raised 3 children of my own. I did a pretty good job on 2.
They are all unhappy.
Sure, you listen to that Janice. Be very careful, because she's a real snake in the grass.
She has no work ethic. Why is that?
If anything happens to me...
Oh, dang it. What an interesting thing adding in Janice now is the big problem.
What are you doing?
What, do you want a piggyback? Get the door.
Anthony, don't let me go to my grave with this guilt.
You listen to me, you old prick.
Yeah.
You're not going anywhere.
Make things right with your mother, please.
Good night, my love. My moment with you now is ending.
He's gotta hurt to hell, man. Alrighty. Ugh. How fascinating. You know, it's an interesting thing, like, I feel like you can easily see with Tony, like, where he gets it, with what little you see of his dad and what you see of Livia. I feel like you can see it. Why does my voice sound weird? I feel like you can see it. I like, though, now having Janice seeing, like, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. And the tree knows it. What an interesting thing, man. What an interesting thing. See, it's an interesting angle because, like, we've had this whole thing of, you know, what is Livia doing, you know? Is it all legit? Is it all not legit? I definitely am leaning towards no, she was putting on this act. Mainly just because, like, you don't really recover from a stroke that quickly. I mean, maybe if it's a minor stroke, maybe, but, like, strokes are serious, you know? And if she had one, she's not going to be pretty much back to where she was before that, you know? Like, in 2 episodes. So, that's where I'm kind of thinking, like, I don't know about this, but I like now having this new plot line. Like, I don't know, I just didn't expect this, you know? Like, sure, we had Janice in the last episode being sort of a pain, you know? Obviously, she's trying to get Livia's car and Livia's house, you know? She's trying to bum it all out. But now it's like, oh, she's going after the money, too. She's going after the money that Livia has. She's trying to take all her money and get rid of her. And that's an interesting thing. Like, yeah, she obviously doesn't want to take care of her mother, but I don't know. I just was not expecting this. I was not expecting this sort of development. I mean, that scene was kind of terrifying. Just that scene between the two of them where it's like you could see the gears working in their heads of figuring each other out, you know? And just the fact that it's like, yeah, freaking, like, look, I mean, I don't think anyone's gonna be able to figure you out better than your mother, you know? And Livia figured it out. She probably sees herself in Janice, you know? It's like, oh, you're trying to butter her up, take her home, get her money, then they do not resuscitate, and that's that, you know? They do not resuscitate. Janice takes all her money, and she leaves. That's pretty ballsy. That's pretty ballsy to do. So yeah, I mean, and it's an interesting thing because I feel like before, I don't know, like at what point do you think Livia figured it out? Because like she almost seemed kind of genuine at first, of like, it's like, oh, we'll go back to my house now. I'll go back to Green Grove, you know. Go back to Green Grove instead, but no, it seems, I don't know. Like, was that legit, or did she already know that Janice was going to try to go for the money? Like, as soon as she heard, like, oh, we're going to take you back to your house, you know? I don't know. It's such an interesting thing, you know? It's such an interesting thing. I like how they do talk about, even though I don't fully understand the stuff with the Reverend, like, him being in on the whole thing. Like, him leading the protests, but at the same time, he's in with Tony. So, I don't know. I don't fully understand the ins and outs of that. But I do like how they talk about, like, well, once the last of that generation dies, then we're the old ones, you know? And for him, now with his father gone, he is the elder, and to him, it's weird. And now, it's like, well, you know, June, while June is still technically there, you know, he's under house arrest and stuff, but now, it's like he's just injured himself, you know, just taking a shower, just trying to pick up his razor that he dropped. He fell and possibly broke his hip, you know? And so now he's the older generation. It's him and Livia are this older generation, and now, once they're gone, which maybe begs the question with that sort of setup, do you think one, if not both of them, might die this season? I don't know. Did we have, like, major losses from last season? Not really in terms of our core cast. Like, obviously we had, you know, we had Jimmy, but Jimmy really wasn't much of a character, you know? I guess Vin, to an extent, was kind of the closest. So, I don't know. Like, we haven't had, like, a major loss in our core cast, you know? So, I don't know. So maybe we'll see something. Maybe we'll have something like that this season. The only thing is, like, if I could see maybe if it's June, because, you know, the conflict between Tony and June, a lot of that was really just in season 1. Now it's pretty much like aftermath, you know? Tony won. Most of June's guys are gone. But June now just has to accept, you know, that he's boss in name, you know? He's boss in name so that the feds, you know, don't push it too much further, you know? So I could see that, but I don't know. It depends on, like, how much of June's story is there, you know? But then again, I don't know. We're still so friggin' early, you know? We're still so friggin' early in the show. I mean, this is 15 episodes in now. So it's like, can I even, like, think about something like that? It's like, oh, how far does this story go? We're still so early in the show, you know? So, I don't know. Are we going to lose either June or Livia this season? I don't know. But yeah, but that was interesting. And his whole thing of, you know, you got to make peace with Livia. Which, I mean, it's a thing of, like, look, she has been awful. Even if you take away the whole thing of trying to get Tony whacked, like, she's still been awful to him. You know, like we talked about last episode with Carmilla's parents, that, you know, it's like, oh, you know, they stayed away from that house as long as, you know, Livia was there, because they just didn't want to deal with her. And Carmilla saying, like, oh, you know, you played right into her hands, gave her exactly what she wanted. It's like, yeah, but they did not deal with that stress. You know, they basically cut out a very toxic person in their lives, you know? And me, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, well, good, you know? And it's the kind of thing where I'm thinking, it's like, well, should Tony, you know, have to make peace with her, you know? Like, why is it that Tony has to be the one to make peace? Tony has done a lot of good things for her, you know? Like, he's gotten her to a place where people can look after her and take care of her, and all she's done is be miserable. To an extent, it's not like I don't understand her feelings, but at the same time, she has done so many awful things to Tony, and Tony, pretty much right to the point where she wanted him whacked, has always been kind of inviting to her, even having her at dinner, after everything, after all the complaining, all everything, all the stuff that she has put him through, like, she was still coming to dinner. The breaking point was when he thought, and whether he's right or wrong, whether it's true or not, that she wanted him whacked, you know? So I kind of sit here and think, well, should he even make peace with her, you know? Or is he right? You know, is he right with what he's doing, you know? It's not a thing of, you know, being a rebellious teenager, being like, oh, I hate my parents. It's like, no, he is a grown man, and he has been through a lot of crap. We saw flashbacks to her being terrible to him in the past, and he has brushed all of that off, you know? Like, when he told that to Dr. Melfi, he brushed all of that off. But I don't know. Why is it that he should be the one to have to make peace, you know? Now, granted, in June's mind, he's thinking, well, she can't really make peace because she, you know, either A, hasn't done anything wrong, you know, didn't want him whacked, or B, you know, isn't in, you know, the right headspace, you know? She's out of it, you know, half the time. But Tony then brings up a good point. It's like, okay, so what half did you listen to, you know? It's like, in all of this, like, you think she's just some rambling old woman, then why did you take that as a basis to try to kill me, you know? To kill your own nephew. So it's sort of a half and half. It's like, I kind of understand June to an extent, but honestly, I'm kind of more on Tony's side, you know? And it's weird because it's like, it's not like Tony, I mean, let's face it, Tony's not a good guy, you know? Tony is obviously not a good guy. And there's a part of me that's like, well, is Tony right? But at the same time, it's like, yeah, like, I kind of don't want to be fully on Tony's side, weirdly. But at the same time, I'm looking at this as like, she has been pretty awful. Why does he have to make peace? You know? Why does he have to give her any thought? You know? He has basically cut a toxic person out of his life, and now people are like, oh, you need to take care of her because she's your mother. And it's like, well, she's also the devil. I don't know. I'm kind of with Tony on this one, you know? And to be fair, where June is more genuine about it, June is more genuine about, you know, making peace. Janice just wants, you know, the house, the car, the money, and to get out of there. Like, she doesn't genuinely want Tony to make up with Livia. She's in it for her own benefit, you know? But in all of this, in both of these episodes, there has not been a single word from Carm about that, you know? Like, you would almost think that Carmilla would be the one, you know, to be like, oh, well, you gotta go make peace with your mother, you know? I love any time I get to do a Carm impression. I don't know why she's the funniest one to do. But anyway, she has never been like, oh, well, you need to go make peace with your mother and stuff. It's like, no, she is fully like, yeah, she tried to kill you, and now, you know, she's dead to you. And it's like, that is just like, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I don't know. It's just an interesting thing. Like, it's not Carmilla saying it, it's Junior, you know? So, I don't know. But yeah, but even still, so that's an interesting thing. On top of the Janice versus Livia chess game. I love, that was a funny shot, honestly, of her looking at the sign, you know, in case of a fire, use the stairs. And just, they change it so the person is falling down, but it has Livia's face on. That was a funny visual. I enjoyed that. But yeah, just that scene between them, it's like, ooh, like the smiles are kind of going, well, I mean, the smiles are not, you know, these sort of fake happy smiles, like, ooh, these are smiles of like, oh, it is on now. It is a fight, you know? So that's just, that's an interesting thing, man. That's an interesting thing. Yeah, I mean, I guess in terms of the other stuff, there was another scene with Pussy where he's, you know, he's kind of questioning, you know, his loyalty to Tony, I guess. See, I think it's a thing of, like, he questions his loyalty to Tony, but at the same time, he's like, you know, 30 years, the two of them have been friends, you know, and suddenly this, you know, but it's something for him to think about, you know, whereas the other guy is like, oh, well, you don't know this guy. I mean, I guess this guy's trying to tell him the same thing, you know, cut a toxic person out of your life, you know, maybe you shouldn't be dealing with Tony Soprano, you know? Like, this guy is toxic. Wow. I didn't realize going into this that this would be, like, the main focus of this show is toxic individuals. Man. And for a show from 25 years ago, that's an interesting thing. I don't know. I don't think I'm reading too much into that either. Like, it's just... But, I mean... That also kind of works with the underscore of the psychiatry, which we didn't have anything. We didn't have Dr. Melfi in this episode. Is this the first episode that just did not have... I mean, I don't know. There was that episode last season where, you know, where Tony and Meadow were going to the college stuff. That probably didn't have Dr. Melfi. Oh, no, wait. It did because she called... She called and talked to Carmela. Yeah, so... But yeah, no Dr. Melfi in this episode. But that whole thing of, like, you know, therapy and, like, fixing your life and fixing things in your life, like, cutting out toxic people is definitely one of those things, you know? Understanding why you have a toxic relationship with this person and, you know, dealing with it, that's a part of therapy. So, if anything, yeah, it makes sense that this show is about just, like, toxic behavior and toxic relationships, you know, and not just, you know, like a toxic relationship like between a boyfriend or girlfriend or something like that, or a husband and wife, even though there are undertones of that between Tony and Carmela, you know, or you could even say Chris and Adriana, you know, like there are undertones of that, but it's just toxic relationships in general. So, man, good stuff, definitely. So, yeah, curious to see where we are going next time, and will I have this weird deep voice that I've had all discussion. I don't know where this came from, but apparently my voice just died in the middle of that episode, and now I've got this sort of deep, sort of morning voice. Anyway, but that is basically it. With all of that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around any of those. There's a playlist with all of my Sopranos reactions, as well as another video you can go click on if you want. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.